When changing strings on your guitar, there's always this brief period of time where your guitar is always detuning, the strings are just getting used to the tension and bending, and your guitar is pretty much unplayable. But there's a trick I've been using for years successfully now that I'm going to show you today that will significantly shorten that time of detuning, will decrease the amount of detuning, and will also increase tuning stability down the line later. Does that sound interesting to you? Then let's dive right into it. The guitar I'm changing strings on today is this old Les Paul Custom. It's a Chinese-made, actually pretty cheap guitar that I've had for more than 10 years already. And it's kind of a secondary guitar for me, a training guitar. And today it's getting new strings. The strings that I'm using today are D'Addario nickel wound strings. I really like D'Addario. That's kind of my go-to strings. Also today I'm using one of these string winders. If you don't have one of these, I would strongly recommend getting one. It makes your life so much easier. I will link this down below. And last but not least, I'm using a tool just to cut off the ends of the string. Step one, of course, is to remove the old strings. But before you jump and take out your scissors, wait. Don't just cut the old strings. You might be tempted. It might seem fun if you've never replaced strings before. But the strings, of course, exercise tension on your neck. And the neck itself exercises tension in the other direction. And if you just cut all the strings, there is a sudden change in tension and you might actually damage the neck. There might be little cracks or something. So you definitely want to avoid that and start unwinding strings one by one. So let's do that. One thing I like to do is I like to keep the old strings. So I rewind them. I take the packaging of the new strings and just put the old strings in. And then I label them with the date so I know how old these old strings are. And I just like to keep them as a backup. So in case a string snaps 5 minutes before a service, 5 minutes before a concert, I have used strings that I can put on. And the benefit of that is that these used strings are already used to the tension, they are already bent, so they will not detune as much. And in an emergency situation, I would much rather take a used string like that and quickly put that on my guitar than having to use a completely new string. So these will be kind of my emergency strings going in my guitar bag just as a backup. So now it's time for the new strings. I'm just starting with the high E string, but actually it doesn't matter. You can just start with whatever string you like. One thing I like about the D'Addario strings is that they are color-coded in the end. So this is silver, so that it makes it really easy to pick the right string. And now I've been sliding through the string, through the tailpiece and through my tuner. And with just a little bit of slack, I'm starting to wind the tuner. And I'm making sure that the string goes above the windings, so it's not like up and down. And once I'm almost one way around, I start to exercise some tension on the string. I hope it's visible. I make sure everything is lined up properly, and then with pre-tension applied, I wind the string. Let's do the same thing again for the lower E string. I'm getting a little bit of a closer perspective for you. pulling the string through the tuner. I'm starting to wind the string, and I'm making sure that the main part of the string goes above the end, like that. Already applying a little bit of tension here. And once I'm at that point, I use my pointing finger to pull a little bit below the string and my thumb to press down. So I'm exercising tension on the string, but at the same time making sure it goes very much in a straight line here. And then with that kind of pre-tension applied, I tighten the string like that, and then I can already pre-bend the string even a little bit more, like that, and also like that. So those were 6 strings, and the important part is really making sure you apply tension while winding the string, just giving the string pre-tension, so to say, so that it's not loosely wound around the tuner, but with pre-tension. Now what's left to do is give it a quick tuning. And then once I'm done, I always pull a little bit on the strings, just give it a little extra bending, nothing too heavy, just a little bit. And retune. Sounds good to me. And now we will just wait 10 minutes and see what it's like then. Okay, so a few minutes have passed. I've used the time to fire up Ableton, so you will hear the result more clearly, and I've got myself a cup of tea. And now let's see what the result is like. Sounds pretty good, right? Definitely playable. It's not detuned to a point where you can't play it anymore. If I look at the tuner, I can see, for example, the G string is off by -9 cents. So it's not perfect, but you can't expect perfect with this method. It's not like the string won't detune at all, but it significantly improves the situation. Typically, if you would change strings and use new strings, after 5 minutes the guitar would be completely detuned. But with this method, as you could see, the guitar actually stays quite playable. And I've not fooled you, I've not tuned in the meantime. This was just the way I left it. And to quickly recap, it's really all about pre-bending the string, applying tension while you wind the string, getting your finger below it, and then after the string is attached, a little bit more bending, nothing too heavy. That already does the trick. Alright, and with that being said, I hope this was helpful information for you. I hope you can take something away from this video. If it was helpful, if you liked it, make sure to press that like button down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!